Well, everybody, it's reviews day. Ultra's Comics Podcast reviews day. Very good week. It's now June somehow. I don't know how it's possible. We're
Yeah, right.
nearing 75 episodes somehow. Well, what we doing? It's crazy.
You just keep moving, dude. You just keep
Yeah,
see a little bit every week. Little bit every week adds up.
yeah. I was telling him someone yesterday. I was telling guy at the comic shop. I was telling John. I was like, hey, I said, if anything, it's a way I can hang out. As he was saying, it's hard for him to connect with some of his friends. I'm like, you should just do a podcast, and then you can hang out with your friends so many hours. Much to his wife's chagrin sometimes.
True. True
Sometimes you
that.
can have them. Sometimes I need him back. I need him back. But let's jump right into reviews.
All
Reviews
right.
day. I'm gonna share it out. Share it. Where is the share? There it is. Got my screen too small. That's what she said.
Ugh. That's what she said.
Boo. That is what she said.
Oh man, we are starting right off with the bat.
Right off. So I think you said it's funny. You said that on the second issue. It's like, well, it's warming up. Like I liked his art, Jim Lee's art, or Batman, Hattush, Batman All in 160 Legacy 925.
Right.
Um, they didn't do a double size or anything. I feel like I just read news shoot the other day that next issue is gonna be like a month late. Yeah.
Really?
Uh-oh. Yeah, but I don't know.
I didn't. I didn't think it was going to happen that fast.
Yeah, I think either the next issue or issue after. I don't know. I know one of these is going to be a month late.
Why?
So
I thought he had so much time.
I don't
Can't
know,
be
man.
him.
Of
I can't. Can't be. Could it be him?
course, it's always him. It's always him. It's never not been him. You know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not true on that.
All right.
But you mentioned that like it took him a while for him to like kind of get up to speed. This is the best issue, I think. I
Yeah.
think you're right. I think if the first one say the first one started off at like 66%, next one was like 70%, this is probably closer to like almost like 90% Jim Lee. I
Yeah.
just thought that like when I look at Jim Lee stuff, I want to see like something that I just want to see a little bit extra stuff. Like so here, look at this middle part right here.
I want to see Jim Lee that I know and love, and give me something new, Jim Lee. Jim Lee, open my eyes to something new that you've learned, whether from someone else or your take on something else. Jim Lee is a cipher, Liefeld likes to call him.
Yeah.
He
Mhm.
can take the best of Marshall Rogers, or he could take some John Byrne, or he could take whatever he sees and turns it into Jim Lee.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to see. And Batman has the best history of artists, one of the best history
That's
of
true.
artists going
Yeah.
back through history. So he's got all that to take from and turn it in his Jim Lee mishmash and give us something new. And this is something new. That
Yeah.
hush that hush panel is great.
Yeah, this is the middle, the top middle panel is the best. It's like all with the shading, everything in here. I just think it's really, really cool.
I wonder if
Um,
he's doing some inking on top of his pencils. Like I know Williams is the inker, but
he
is
might
Jim
be doing
Lee?
some washes, like because again, the stuff that we like, the Jim Lee stuff that we like is like Deathstroke. Is like I think he did what he did Weird War Tales, he did like a 10 pager.
Mm,
And when he inks himself, it's always a little bit different. He does trading cards with a lot of Sharpies. Like
right.
we like it when it's a little bit more experimental,
Yeah.
darker image. But what's funny is as much as this does a little bit, like you said, he may have done some ink flourishes here. Um, like this just hit me as soon as I saw this page. I'm like, man, this is like Wildcats like year one, year two,
Yeah.
like
I can see that.
in how impactful like that page. Like, oof, because I just remember seeing. I think that one of the best things I remember is opening up as a Wildcats 5, where the page it was like a 6 page spread.
Oh yeah. The zealot and grifter
They
stuff.
never did anything like that before, and I know that supposedly that's also in the compendium. I haven't seen
It
the
is. It
compendium in
is. I
person.
saw when I was visiting. I was out of state and I went to a comic store because if I go on vacation, I go to the local
You
comic
go
store.
one eight hundred
I just yes.
comic book
No,
locator
not at
service.
all.
No,
There,
not anymore.
it's all in your phones. It's amazing. Just Google
Mm,
Maps comic store. Boom. It was a really big store. Had a lot of neat stuff, and I went right to the compendiums, found that Wildcats.
mm.
I'm like, oh, because Alex Sinclair recolored the first four issues. I
Right,
think you had
right.
told me that, and I'm like, what? And I went and I had to see it. I didn't buy the compendium. I want it digital, so I'm waiting for like it to show up on a DC app. To be honest with you, the absolute Wildcats never showed up on a DC app. And then they making a new Wildcats Absolute that I don't know if it'll ever show up on a DC app.
Yeah, I don't think they
It,
do the absolutes or the omnibuses. I think they just do like the deluxe editions.
I don't know. I want if I could talk to Jim Lee, I'd be like, Jim Lee. Yeah, I was like, listen, because he puts in Wildcats 1 through 13.
Mhm.
And he has permission to put the Dragon issue in there, but he didn't put the Dragon issue in there, which is basically feels more like a grifter issue than anything.
So 12.5. Yeah.
It is. It is.
We're
It
just
just
like
should
one
be.
shot. Yeah.
I mean, Youngblood's in there, Cyberforce is in there, Cyberforce issues are in there.
Right.
Put your friggin' Dragon issue in there. Make it complete, because now it makes it a complete Jim Lee Wildcats collection.
Right.
I
Because
mean, he
now
does come back and draw like 2 or 3 issues of Alan Moore stuff, but like, remember when he came back to do Alan Moore? He's like, Jim Lee's got to draw Alan Moore's. But at the same time, he was doing Heroes Reborn, Fantastic Four. And we
mhm.
were like, yeah, that's never going to happen. You're going to get an
Right, right, right.
issue and a half. And I think we got an issue and a half.
I don't even remember. Um, I don't even remember.
No,
Um,
that's fine. You're old.
I
Not
well,
me, young and spry.
yeah, but like, isn't the first couple issues isn't that Joe Chiodo inks, Joe Chiodo colors? So you're saying Alice Sinclair colored over that?
Colored over that, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
gotta
it's
do another
because
side by side episode. Side by side. We love side by sides.
they don't have the files for it.
Mm.
And it's very strange because he like if you recolored those books, you think DC would put out Wildcats Deluxe. We're getting Walking Dead Deluxe, we're getting Youngblood Deluxe.
Yeah.
Do it. Do Wildcats Deluxe. People would buy it.
Didn't they
Especially the first
do?
4 issues.
Was Essential Sandman? Remember they did Essential Swamp Thing,
But that was black and white.
right? But
Boo.
they did. Well, sort of. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, I
No,
remember at the time.
Essential Swamp Thing was black and white. I think
Right.
Essential Sandman got recolored, right?
Yeah, I want to say that the later editions of all that, yeah, I think that was all recolored. All that was recolored,
So what got
like
put in the
Steve Oliff
absolute?
and the what do you mean for Wildcats
Absolute
or?
Sandman.
I think it's all the recoloring. I think the first couple collections that they first came out were the original coloring, and
Right.
then I want to say when they did like the 10th anniversary, I have like a 15th or 20th anniversaries over there that my dad had. He gave them to me. So,
They're cool.
but
That's
they're all
cool.
they're all the recolors. But by the time Kelly Jones was on like the third storyline, that's when it was all kind of adopted into doing like the computer coloring and everything like that.
All right.
They had to go back and redo the Sam Keith ones. But this looks so much like that early Jim Lee. He is doing something with that bat symbol. It's just a little bit different. It's like smaller on his chest. Like I have to go look at
It's not
his
as round as Dark
his
Patterns,
Hoosh
but it's
one.
a little,
Yeah. The Dark Patterns has it. Yeah, the Dark Patterns is just gigantic on chest. But I like this. He's still doing the wash. Like it's still in line with being Hush one in line.
yes. Yeah,
Um,
it is a sequel in every sense of the word.
yeah, the Riddler. They didn't do a whole lot with the Riddler here. Um, I do think that we talked about Dan Mora and we think his women are he draws women better than a lot of the men. I think that Jim Lee's some like that sometimes as well because this Batgirl here is like great, so good, simple, real good.
Yeah.
Real good.
But
Some
look at that
parallel.
page.
Yeah.
Batman climbing up the wall, down below, the cars on the street, there's a bridge, there's a building, there's a motorcycle. That's a really hard panel to draw.
This is where I think this is where a lot of the other even Image founders, would kind of like say to him, I know everyone like Silvestri, but as a technician, I think Jim Lee is just a bit more. I understand, everyone just like reveres the Silvestri. I think it's more of him being a little bit
Everyone
more in that.
reveres
So
Silvestri except Jim Lee. I mean, Jim Lee still loves him at all. But like
yeah,
Jim Lee's like, I don't see it. Like he doesn't see how Miss Silvestri's better than him, basically.
right, right. And
Like
that's
Jim
okay.
Lee, no,
You
it's
know,
fine. Because Jim Lee works his butt off.
yeah. Yeah, but I think all this action's really good. You know what I mean? The little squiggles, like
You know
it's
what I
new.
was
Like this squiggle here, it almost was like I feel like this is more of like a Capullo panel, right?
Mark, you know me. This woman has metallic liquid arms.
Yeah,
What connection was I hoping for here?
the engineer.
Nah, Warblade from Wildcats.
Uh,
He's literally Warblade from Wildcats is Jim Lee's Wolverine meets the T-1000 from Terminator.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
I don't know, it's just funny. Well, so the woman's got the same powers as Warblade.
Yeah, I thought it was basically like the engineer because I was thinking of the trailer for the Superman movie with the
Yeah,
engineer with the,
that
you
looks
know,
more nanite than liquid metal.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But this is the same. like kind of coming up the building panel
Yeah,
a
that's
bit.
a similar and a motorcycle on the ground.
Yep.
It's funny.
Um, but yeah, I like. I mean, I just think that all this is just like crazy. And there's rumors that they're gonna wipe someone
This
out
is
here.
this
There's a
is right, by the
rumor.
way. This is right. Like Nightwing would always take out Jason Todd. Jason Todd, who could take out almost anyone, can't take out Nightwing. He just can't. And
Yeah,
at
no,
this point, I don't even know if Batman could take out Nightwing.
no, I don't think so. Yeah, I
It'd be
don't
very,
think so.
it'd be very close.
Yeah, they should have a fight. They should have a fight, and Batman should lose. That would be fun. That would be fun. Hatoosh, Hatoosh. This is a pretty scary character. I think I like again, I think all the action this just reminds me of like this is like Punisher War Journal. Just having like the wider action shots,
Mm.
with the Carl Potts, and then this just kind of made me laugh. Like I want to be surprised. There was two surprises this week. This was one of them. When I saw this, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you say like taking this, it's
Already,
almost like Shane Davis. Like this is like it feels like Shane Davis drew this. I know he didn't, but
yeah.
like it's a little tighter.
You know what gets me? The Jim Lee boots, dude. I love Jim Lee draws the best boots.
He's doing even more. I mean, that's what's crazy. He's like the Batman armor that he's doing. He's like hit the gauntlet's crazy. Like his gauntlet's a lot more. Like so he's doing a little bit extra on that, which is fine. Which is fine because I think the main elements there. I think that the problem with the Jim Lee stuff when we th talk about his costume designs is that he takes there's too many lines. Like that Flash design was like there's too many
Yeah,
lightning bolts through it, and only one or two other people could draw it that way. Carmine's the only one. Carmine Di Giandomenico
right.
is the only one I think that really could do it like that. But every
The
time
other,
I saw it elsewhere, I was like, I hate it.
yeah, it's bad when it's hard to draw Jim Lee designs if you're not Jim Lee.
Yeah. Yep.
I would have thought this was. I thought when I first saw this, I'm like, that's BS. There's no way Damian gets taken from behind like that. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, Batman just kind of pushed him, so it's kind of Batman's fault.
Well, it's a touche though. But Hush is in there. There
Yeah.
was there was a good there was a good question earlier where, and this is continuity I don't really mind because it didn't happen. It's not an insert, but Hush says to Jason, I think, or he says that like if I'm the number one brain surgeon in the world, he's not going to call me when his ward gets like beaten to death and then his head. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they just basically say maybe he's screwed up forever. Maybe Jason Todd's a screw loose. Like it's
There's something.
not not on that it's a they say we're saying like the Lazarus Pits can't fix it, can't fix everything. You
But
know,
also, he could just be lying to him, so we don't know.
I don't know. You know,
Manipulation, he's good at it.
oh yeah. Um, Deadpool Wolverine. We knew they were going to put these suits on when they showed these suits in issue one.
Yeah.
So payoff here.
Don't show a gun unless you use it.
Yeah, there was something I forget what it was. We were watching something, my daughter were watching something, and I was like, oh, there it is. I was like, yeah, so I think whatever we were watching that James McAvoy movie, like Speak No Evil or whatever, where they're like,
Oh, okay, yeah. Mhm.
and at the beginning he's talking about these like carving knives. Like, yeah, I got these carving making. I was like, oh, there they go.
There you
And so
go.
they're showing up later. He's gonna get stabbed by that carver. She's like, Dad, what are you saying, Dad? I'm
It's
like, I'm
called
telling you
something
right now.
like Chekhov's gun or something.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
something. It's like something like a Russian name.
Right, right, right. Yeah, it's a story element. It's like a mulligan or MacGuffin.
MacGuffin, yeah.
Um, yeah, this was kind
It's
of a
it's a
fun.
it's a Brian Mulligan.
It's
He
Brian
hates that, by the
Mulligan.
way. He hates. I think he's been called Mulligan like multiple times.
What era is this? This is like, well, it's funny that they have this here. They have a Carnage there. I don't know, but see, I don't know. It says the past. I mean, this is we know when this is because that's the CRC Black Knight era, which
Right.
is pretty fun.
That's the bomber
That's
jacket
Vision
era.
Quest. Yeah, but give me that bomber jacket.
Well,
Yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
come Captain America's not a bomber? Cersei is, and Black Knight pulls that. He is a bomber. But yeah, where's every?
Where's
Cersei
his
has the
bomber?
bomber. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him with the bomber with the mullet bomber.
Um,
Black Knight I have an affinity for. I like
I
Black
know.
Knight. They screwed it up. You had friggin' Jon Snow as Black. You messed
That
it
was
up,
good casting.
Marvel.
That was good casting.
It's great casting, dude. It's because you think he's tough. Like we need different character shapes. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's something that's not really in the comics right way. They already screwed it up with Wolverine. Wolverine 6-1. No. But like when you do it, comic accurate small Wolverine, it looks ridiculous as shown in the last Death Wolverine movie.
Yeah, but that guy's only 4'10". I think Wolverine's supposed to be 5'3". So he's
Yeah.
like he's short, but he's not like that
Right, right,
short.
right.
He's not
Short King.
They're always after me, Lucky Charm short.
This was a weird issue because the Deadpool and Wolverine were in like 7 pages. And then also it moves to
This
like Maverick for 6 pages and then
splat.
Silence for a bunch of pages. There was like a bunch of silent pages, which I thought was kind of crazy, which was fine by me. And then this is really bad, I feel. This is really bad.
This is really bad. Go on.
Really bad.
Because
So they
I
put
thought
this here. They put this, that was like the last page. I'm like, this is the last page, right?
I'm like, this seems kind of short, but it's a great last page. It's like
It's
shit.
cool. But then they just like have like an epilogue. They have 2 pages of these people, or who the fuck these people are.
Yeah.
And then they have the zombies coming back, and then like Wolverine's all ominous, and then Wolverine. You have like an extra ending. Like it just the pacing was just really weird. And I
Yeah.
feel this is the way that Ben Percy does it sometimes. It's like there's no editors. There's no one saying like, hold on a tick.
This
If you rearrange the pages a little bit, it would have been fine. It's just that they didn't. You didn't have to have 6 pages in the middle of Maverick. That could have been a page, one, two. Like we're smart enough. We
Yeah.
got it,
Yeah. It was
you
weird to
know?
put these pages after your ads. We're so used to Marvel Comics. Just give us your 20 page of story and then put your Marvel crap at the end.
Yeah.
I get it.
Put your ads, put your
Don't,
promos.
but this isn't a Marvel movie. We don't need a scene after the credits,
Well, no.
you know? However, I will say, as I read this issue, as I got towards the end stuff, like I feel like this just kept getting better. I
Mhm.
love Strife. Great utilization of Strife. The original purpose of Strife was always supposed to be Apocalypse wanted to put his mind into the Cable clone. Cable is the perfect mutant, supposedly, because he's the son of Cyclops and Jean Grey. Madeline Pryor, technically, I know.
Right.
And then he gets infected, so now he's no longer perfect. So they clone him into Strife. Now Strife is the perfect mutant, but he's still a clone. So I
Mhm.
think the point of Strife was supposed to be always Apocalypse, when Strife becomes of age, put his mind into it. But this is like a battle-ridden, scarred. Like Strife never should have had scars because he's a clone. So
Mhm.
either he did it to look like Cable, or by chance he got scarred.
Right.
But
Well,
he's utilizing
that
his
was your argument with that. Like when you first
yeah.
saw Stripe, you're like, why is he? What is that? Like, why did he scar himself exactly?
See,
Like,
see, originally Liefeld had like 3 or 4 different ideas for Strife. And the idea that we almost got was Strife was a either a future or a past version of Cable. So either came back in time. This is
like
New
Kang.
Mutants time.
Yeah.
Either Cable came back in time to fix what he did as Strife, or he becomes evil in the future and comes back as Strife to mess up what he did as Cable.
Mhm.
And also, Cannonball was almost Cable. Did you know that? That was
Yeah,
one of
you told me that.
that
Yeah.
was one of the possibilities. That's why he's so hard on him, because Cannonball is an external, which is basically a Highlander version of a mutant, which
Mhm.
was always a neat idea that like Marvel never really fulfilled. It was like a Liefeld idea that they didn't want to follow up on.
Yeah, I think
So back to
that
this
was a
book.
lot of it. Yeah.
Back to this book. Great uses of Strife. I love when he stops the bullets. Strife is that
Mhm.
powerful. Strife is like the next Magneto, the next Apocalypse. Like I always felt, and because we're children of the 90s, he should have been a much bigger deal. And we thought that with Executioner's Song.
Mhm.
Like, oh, they're
Yeah.
really building him up. And then he's never that big again.
No, well that execution song you feel was still just plot threads that were laying around.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
all Liefeld like plot threads
see,
held.
Liefeld and Lee were like, they were at an X-Men summit, like one of the early ones. And basically like they wanted to kind of do the story, but they didn't want to be told what to do. And like we're at a summit, we're the ones selling millions of copies of comics, and they're kind of telling us what to do. Like Peter David's over here, rest in peace, Peter David. Peter David's like giving them story input for what they should do in their books.
Mhm.
And honestly, Peter David's input probably isn't that bad. But at the same point, like they were high on their horses. They were the big shots.
Yeah, you
Lee
got
and
to see. I think Bob Harris was a weird person because if you watch, I got to send you these videos. Someone has it posted
what?
when MTV did like a like walk around the X-Men offices and you meet Sue Gaffney and you meet Bob Harris and it's Karen Bryant. She was the interviewer. She had like kind of the squiggly hair.
Okay.
And Bob Harris is like sitting on the desk and his arms are up like this and his feet are up on the desk. He's like, I'm too cool. Like it came off too cool for school. And I was like, yo, no. So I feel like the summits weren't run with probably you need some type of middle ground. You can't have like someone that maybe is hard or as definitive as Dan DiDio. I feel like probably CB is probably pretty loose having story ideas, but then he doesn't hone them down. I feel like they're
Now,
just
CB
wide.
Cebulski is a halfway decent writer. He is a decent
Yeah.
writer. And he's been
Akira
around a long
Yoshida.
time.
You mean?
Ugh, I try not to bring it up. CB Cebulski back in the '90s, I was on the Yahoo groups, for the Awesome Army Online, the Awesome Comics group, and CB was part of that group. This is
Hmm.
back when he was doing nothing. I think he just started doing translation of manga comics. Remember, he had his own little manga company.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Akira Yoshida.
yeah, I like
Akira
this stuff.
Yoshida
His
was stuff that like basically that was his pen name.
Yeah, he thought it was like unfair for himself to write, being he wasn't publisher yet, right? He was like second in charge,
Right, right, right,
and he felt like it was unfair for him to do that, so he just had a pen name.
right. It
But
just comes
like
off a little tone deaf.
he's he's a Japanese expert. He speaks fluent Japanese. He's very versed in
Mm.
their culture. He spent a lot of time there. So I understand his love of it. And he got outed by, I think, people who like didn't get jobs. It
Right,
was
right,
really
right,
dumb. Like, all
right,
right, so you burnt your bridge, you
right, right,
know?
right. And probably never got back. Yeah.
And
Um.
Akira Yoshida is like basically Japanese for John Smith. It's a super
Yes.
common. It's
That's
just
probably
common,
right.
common, common.
Yeah. But you got to figure, how old is Percy? Is he our age or a little younger? Might be
I
a little
feel like
younger.
it. I feel like it.
But his love for Maverick's pretty fun. Like I feel like it's awesome. Maverick's in like 9 pages of this book. You
See, I
know.
feel like this should just be an X-Force book. This should be X-Force.
Oh, X-Force
With
canceled. Might as well have this be X-Force. For
no, I
fuck's sakes.
mean,
Like it's
bring in Cable, dude. I just want Cable in this book. I want Cable in a book where he's appreciated and treated right. And honestly, bring in Thunderbird too. I love Thunderbird. Basically, what Joe Casey and Chris Cross tried to do,
mhm.
I would like to see in this book.
Yeah.
And you know
Well,
what?
and have Josh Cassaro draw. Josh Cassaro's fucking
And Josh
awesome.
Cassaro draw it. No, that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's a
What a
great scene, by
weird,
the way. That dragon looks awesome. It's
what a
really a
weird
good build
break.
up. It is a
Yeah, I
weird
mean
break.
it's been the last couple issues, and to me this whole thing is very Jason Aaron-y, and that's okay.
You
Listen,
know
if
what
you're gonna
else?
pick up, from
Give
it,
me give me a little less Deadpool. Give me more.
well, that's what
Bring
I'm
in
saying. I'm
Cable.
I'm telling you,
I
dude.
know.
Like I'm telling you, it's like it's too much. I
Bring
think we
in
have I
Cable.
think we have too much ringing in our ears, dude. We have too much Ryan Reynolds ringing in our ears. I don't think it's good. It's not
All
good.
right, we'll
It's
see.
not good. I think there's a reason that he's been absent on a lot of these Marvel press releases. I feel like that all that flack from, that Marvel's not going to bring him on. There's not going to be a Deadpool 4. There's not
There
going to
is
be,
absolutely going to be a Deadpool. This flack is nothing. Listen, you're
yeah.
really into it, and the words getting around about how crazy his wife is seeming
Oh
to
yeah.
be acting.
Hmm.
But it's not going to stop at Deadpool 4. No way. And plus, like he was just, and Ryan Reynolds, he's doing a tour. He was just on Conan like 2 weeks ago on a podcast,
Yeah,
and
very
it was a
soft.
yeah, yeah. It wasn't. It was pretty funny. He thinks on his feet really quickly. He works for Deadpool for a reason,
Yeah. Yeah.
and doesn't work for Green Lantern for all the other reasons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a
So,
mistake from the start. So,
yep, should have been Nathan Fillion from the
yeah.
start.
Well, it is now.
Kind of.
Um, so that's so Norman. I'm a little lost on the thread here. There's a lot going. There's like nothing happening here. I know the two issue storyline. I can't even tell you that they just had. They had like a basically like a fill-in storyline. I don't remember any of it. I don't remember anything about it. I think it was just history. And here, I don't think that they're progressing this at all. You know,
I think give
um,
us the piece before you give us all the hardcore stuff again.
yeah,
It's a build, but you got a world build.
you
This
got to
this
have Veronica Cale in. It just seems like you got to check stuff off. Got to have. I did like this suit though.
the
This
suit's
reminds me of
great.
Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer
That's funny. That's funny
1944.
because I was going to bring in the other BPRD character,
Oh, Johan.
Klaus.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johan.
Hmm.
Right, because it's a gaseous person inside of a suit.
Yeah.
I like that. Like give me a better suit. Like, oh, we don't have it yet. And the woman's like, should we give him the better suit? She's like, no.
Right. Right. Yeah. There's, and I mean, again, I love Hayden Sherman. I like the different, things that are being used, the different elements and all, but I need to see, and I like this because I feel like that, feeling the vibrations and seeing this type of thing in the element is
The
pretty
the
fun.
the building of her home, I guess, is awesome looking. This is neat with all the ant creatures. It's very Alan Moore-esque.
Well, this is reminding me of Tom
Um,
Strong too.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So, you know, um, and then I feel like there's a cool weight here of her coming up, but I'm not getting the impact. Like if you remember, the first issue just had impact, 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 and even this feels like something else. I couldn't really tell what that felt like. This looks like something I know, but I'm not sure what it is.
You know, it's funny. The suit that the gaseous figure's in, Poison, also kind of is the color scheme of like the original Doomsday, the outfit he was
Mm,
contained in. Just a
right,
funny
right, right,
coincidence. Has nothing to do with each other.
right. Yeah,
But
it's something. There's something in this. It just didn't. I don't know. Again, I don't feel that the Absolute Universe are in the same world per se.
what? You don't.
No, this is over here, and then Absolute Martian Manhunter. Everyone's smoking in that town. It's just that town. Like
It's
there's no carryover in
it
rules per
it's the
se.
Mad Men of comics.
Yeah, there's no. I don't know. But yeah, this was I thought was again. Looks like something. I just have to
Yeah, it looks
think
like
about it,
something.
but I don't know. This I don't know. I love this cover, dude. This cover is freaking
That's
amazing.
a great cover.
Yeah, that
That's the
design is
Declan
insane.
Shalvey one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Clayton Henry, very nice.
Very nice. Jay Lee, spectacular.
Yeah.
I didn't show the other one. The one of the girl I
I
thought
have it
was
at the
really
end, I
good.
think. Yeah, I
Oh,
think
okay.
that was. I forget what that one was, but yeah, I post. We'll go to it, but this I think that Ralph Labosco, the guy who does this art, should have a cover. He has like an incentive cover. It's like a 1 in 25 or something
Okay.
like that. So I guess that's okay. He gets his own. I guess this confused me a little bit because I know that they're traveling with others, but then when they go to this like fake morgue type of thing, I was like, did two of the members die? I was like, wait, what? Like I was confused at this when they laid out like
Right.
this. I'm
But
like,
but then yeah, exactly. That's your first thought. And maybe you're
right.
supposed to be misled.
This was pretty sad though. Like, I mean, because
It's
again,
pretty
the last
pretty
issue,
sad, pretty gross.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's this is Ed Brisson. What's cool about this is I feel like it's either they're talking to each other or there's tight editorial in this. So this
Yeah,
feels in very much continuity of the other book.
right. You are the two Thundercats guys, so
Yeah, do
you should
it,
talk.
do it. And then this Scorpius is very scary looking, and he looks very toyetic, toyetic.
Very toyetic.
Yeah, that this was the one in, the final order cutoff bonus. I guess I didn't put the other one in there.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine.
good. Yeah, Thundercats lost. Good. That's issue. That was only issue. Oh, this was three. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I thought right. So that was issue three. I think it's five. I think it's five. This I'm exhausted from the story. This issue didn't really need to even be here, in my opinion. Like I understand like the way it's paced and all that, but was just fine on this. Just like Unlimited 7 and we're yesterday part 5, and then the finale. I want the finale. I want the finale now, and I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
kind of
Dan Moore
thought
is doing the finale.
I thought this was the finale.
Nah, it's
Until
6.
like, oh, I know it's not, but like as
Yeah.
I'm reading it, I was like, oh, I guess it's
And
not the
also this
finale.
connected cover is like you're not doing a good job because like this cover's barely a cover. Like it's
I
not focused at
honestly,
all.
Mark, I feel like DC's making a mistake here. I feel like the mistake is you should have kept your Justice League story in Justice League and keep your World's Finest story. I think making a crossover is kind of a bad idea this early on. Uh, I feel like you need to make your Justice League stories a little bigger in story, but not longer in story.
Well,
Like,
we haven't had a full establishment of that. The rules are there, but we haven't had
yeah,
two storylines. You're right. This
you
should
know,
have been third storyline.
I hate to say it, but like, go reread Grant Morrison stuff, Mark Wade, and
Yeah.
that's what was like the best Justice League probably of our lives.
Hmm.
They were big, the stories mattered, there were surprises, and you have everything that you have all this to look at, like utilize it in a modern way. That those his JLA is what, 20, 30 years old almost?
Yeah, great. Well, what's funny about the Grant Morrison stuff is that like basically he had to kind of deal with like just shit. Like he had to deal with Aquaman being like this way. He had to deal with Superman turned electric in the
Yes,
fourth or fifth issue. And you're like, fuck.
I know,
But
I
then he
know.
has him move the moon, right? Doesn't he move the moon?
Yeah, he uses electricity powers to
It's
mess with
insane.
gravity. It's
It's
like,
so
yeah,
fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna do him better. I'm doing him one better. Like,
you're giving me some ingredients. I'm gonna what do they call that when they try to redo food in like a weird way?
uh,
It's like a I forget what they call
they
it.
gotta up it.
Gastro. Yeah, that's like gastro something or other. I don't know.
Uh,
Yeah, he's
gotta up
upping
it.
it.
Just like
He's
you.
upping it.
Just like when you order stuff. When you order,
Sorry,
you
up
have
those
cheese
fries.
fries. Can you put some extra shit in it?
They looked at me like, "What? Cheese on fries?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Every restaurant in the world puts cheese on fries."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did like, and I thought there was gonna be a little bit more because I feel like every Justice League team always has like an underdog character, and I feel like Logan Man has been an underdog character a few different times.
Yeah.
So I feel like they would have done something here a certain way.
Yeah,
But
I
then
thought
I
he
was
was
thinking
gonna
about it.
succeed and he doesn't.
He doesn't. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, wait, I don't remember. Is all that stuff continuity? Is Sue a murderer? And like, is that
No, I think she's alive.
that's all gone, right?
No, Sue. Sue wasn't the murderer. Sue was murdered
She was murdered. That's right.
by Ray Palmer's girl,
Or
Loring, Jean Loring.
Jean Loring.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I want to see this Shazam story. Give me a story set 20,000 years in the future.
Yeah, I like this. I like all this is
I
this is
also like that
Jerome
they
Moore. I
coupled
like
them.
all the art in
I
it. I
like that
thought
they
the art was
coupled
good.
Shazam and Stargirl together.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I think that they did that in the first storyline too, and he just has a crush on her, and that makes total sense. So,
Well, that was a Justice Society story that Jeff Johns concocted, and
right,
it was great because everyone's like, it's so. I think Golden Age Flash takes Captain Marvel's side. He's like, know, you guys are flirting. It's kind of inappropriate. She's really young. Captain Marvel's like, oh, okay. Even though he's technically age
right,
appropriate to date her,
right, right, right.
you know.
So, God, I
I
hate
love
that Flash
using
costume.
Ultra. I love Ultra the multi-alien, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
And Dan Slott, he's doubling down. He goes, I'm gonna make you love
Hmm.
Ultra. I'm like, all right, well, Mark Wade didn't succeed. He used them, but it's not like
Yeah, it might just be like they're gonna pop him in. Like again, I really disagree with not having like Hal Jordan with the White Temples. I feel like they've rebooted Hal Jordan 6 times since that 1989-ish, that Green Lantern
1990.
series? 90?
No, it might
It
even
was
be
Emerald
91, but I
Dawn
think it's
1 and
90
2.
or
And
90.
then
They're both post Batman 89.
okay. Right. But I like that run. That run's really good. That
No,
runs
it's really good, dude. Really good art, really
and
good
then it
story. I
goes to
was into it.
Mosaic, and then Mosaic's really good too. And then Guy Gardner. I never liked Guy Gardner's character, so it's actually kind of funny. He looks super annoying in the movie, and I'm like, well, that's right. That's
That's
kind of what
that's right.
it is. So, I do understand the airwave like redemption arc type of thing. I do
Yeah.
like him kind of fixing everything up here. God, that cyborg costume sucks. I don't like that cyborg costume at all. I like the Black Lightning costume though. I like his look. I think it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, it's a little more like the TV show with the beard and the
Yeah. I hate the dark side symbol on his head. It's so scary. That's so scary looking.
yeah, that's a mean ass
Uh,
monkey.
but I love this page because again, this is what I want. I would rather have this started now.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they, again, the last issue of World's Finest last week, we were like, this is dumb. Every page is like, it's the character out of time going, like, what's that now? Like, it was just the whole book. It was 3 or 4 instances of like, oh, there's Alfred. Alfred's alive. He's not alive where I'm at. Like it was just over and over and over again. But yeah, give me Jonah Hex. Give me that's 0 Year Batman. Great. And that's World's Finest Robin. Great. Batman
Right.
Beyond. Great.
Peter David Aquaman and
Yeah.
Abin Sur. Give me Abin Sur.
Yeah, I want to
He,
see the what would have
he
been better, and I know they would not have done this. Give me Hex. Give me the Mark Texeira, Keith Giffen Hex 1980s where Hex was thrown into the far, far future,
right.
which was it's technically Jonah Hex continuity because the last issue of Jonah Hex he like falls into it's like literally the last issue of Jonah Hex he like falls into like a portal or something and like in the Wild West and it's like what's that? And then the letter page like go read this.
Duh.
And then the first issue of Hex is like, where the fuck am I? Like it's literally just like way fish out of water. Then he learns how to ride a motorcycle like that, like really fast. And then and that's fine. You got to jump right into that. But that's a
I
super
think
fun
I think Abin
situation.
Sur is long lived as an alien species
Hmm.
because he was in I think a DC Legends of DC book in like the Wild West on Earth.
Oh yeah, right, right, right. Yeah.
Interesting. It's cool.
So yeah, I want to see. I want to see. I mean, it's again. I don't know if more comes back for it or if it's just going to kind of finish out with who's here. It should kind of be. I wish it was everybody. I wish it was like, if you did Clayton Henry and Mora, like kind of finishing it out. But I don't know. Well, it's going to get zipped up real tight, and then, But you're right. This should have been the third storyline, but they can't because they have to basically line up the like absolute-ish crossover the next after this next Superman storyline, which we'll talk to that in a couple
Right.
minutes. All right, so you're mad at me about this again. Skybound.
Here's what it is, people.
Their decisions of coloring are just weird on the logos. I can't see that 19. I can't see. I know it's there.
Yeah, yeah.
They love
Um,
it. They love this like light yellow. They love it. I don't know why.
So I
Void
said to
Rivals
Mark
19.
every month, like, Mark, read Void Rivals. Mark, read Void Rivals. Mark's like, hey Rob, I read Void Rivals. I'm like, great. You caught up? No, I just
Hmm.
read this issue.
Yeah.
I'm like, you son of a bitch. Don't do that. Even
Perfect.
though even though everybody who gets into comics gets in on a random issue,
Yeah.
we have the ability to get these issues. You could buy trades, you could buy digital version, you could do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
You can go on Google Play and get this stuff. You can go on Comixology, though, I don't.
Well, what's cool about this is that this is a
This is
Jersey
the
guy.
new
This is Connor Hughes, and he did the Void Rivals story in
Free Comic Book
Free
Day.
Comic Book Day. Yeah.
Right.
And he was in, I met him briefly. He was talking to a couple people.
And he couldn't tell you that he was taking over Void Rivals,
Hmm. Right.
but the issue had already been solicited, where this issue had already been solicited. So like I'm like, no, Mark, you're like, "Oh, I can't tell me what he's doing." I said he's doing Void Rivals. He's
Right.
already
Right.
been solicited,
Right.
you know?
Well, good on
And
him. That he's not blowing it. He's
no,
not
no,
telling us. I was like, that's what I'm doing. You know what I
no,
mean? Like,
he's
so
he's
that's
he's
the
too
opposite
new.
of most comic creators. Who are like, I'm doing this and doing that. And then they
Yeah.
never end up doing it, or it's just a project fabricated, like Mark Miller.
Mark
Uh,
Miller
but
sucks.
this
So
is perfect. He loves to listen. Kirkman just completely, I guess, two things. Number one, Kirkman knows a lot about TV, right? He works in TV.
yeah,
So all of the ads and stuff here are very similar to, what's in it's Eric Idle in the movie. But I
right.
just kept hearing Eric Idle in this, we
You
talk
I
TV.
I only hear the cartoon actors' voices when I read this comic, and I do it
Yeah,
on purpose and by accident.
it's great.
Um, I love this. I love Wreck-Gar. I have my own fandom stuff about Wreck-Gar. Skuxoid, super cool character. Like we thought he was dead
Mhm.
because he gets killed last issue, and you're like, oh, not Skuxoid. Like we hate Skuxoid. Skuxoid,
He's an
annoying voice,
ass.
would show up
Right.
on the cartoon. And we got a G.I. Joe character here. Like it's just people who are enjoying G.I. Joe and enjoying Transformers should be reading this book because this is the book that ties it together in a way that those two books are not being tied together. Those two books
Right.
couldn't be more opposite each other,
Right.
which
Right.
is
Right.
great. And what also I love is Kirkman really focuses on the third season of Transformers. The third season of Transformers is the cartoon series after the movie. So it
Mhm.
has the Hot Rod, the Springers, all these characters,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
and
Right.
Skuxoid, which is that pig looking dude.
Right. Right. And yeah, we talk TV. I think it's so funny. As a we talk
And
TV
and they're really
reference.
good because they're getting the other Wreck-Gar bike characters from the movie that never got toys till recently. But these all these guys have toys now, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I have a picture of it.
Yeah,
Let me see. They're there.
there we go. Look at it. That's a good set.
Yep.
There was a lot of third-party toys made. Finally, Hasbro was like, "Oh, we could just make our own toys." It's like, yeah, no
Right.
shit, guys.
Right, right. I had a red car when I was younger. I had my friend's
Yeah,
red car. I had
the
Rick versus
Wreck-Gar
red car.
Wreck-Gar toy is like pretty rough
Yeah,
because it
it,
does.
it barely holds, barely transforms right. Like it's not.
And
I just kept him in robot form mostly.
the thing
Yeah.
about Transformers was all the toys always look stupid compared to the cartoon. But
Mhm.
now the technology's there that make the toys look like the cartoons. It's pretty awesome. My
Well,
charger?
the whole thing with the original Transformers, it was like, remember, it was three or four different companies. It was like three companies, and then it wasn't super. They made them. They had to make them basically able to be animated easier than
Yes. Oh,
what
no, I
you
understand how
know.
animation works.
Right. But now they can like reverse engineer it. Like, okay, this is made for this. Let's reverse engineer it. I think they got that by the time I did like Centurions and stuff like that. It all kind of looked like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it got better. But like, yeah, this is a
yeah,
really good issue,
really
dude.
good, really simple. I need. Oh wait, let me go back here one screen. I wonder, just because of the way the lines work here, I wonder, and I don't know him, no, but I think he kind of shops at Final Boss up in Princeton. But I would like to talk to him. You're like, how did you do this? Like, I feel that line weight here. Like he
Yeah,
he may have
I
drawn
wonder if he
this
drew
and
that
then shrunk
separately.
that down. That's awesome.
I
I
think
think
you're
that's
right.
what he did because that looks just very, very specific. And
Yes.
also that's what you should use the digital stuff for. That's really good. Not just all the stuff that, like we kind of talk about what bore a lot of the Marvel style right now bores us. This we can feel programs,
Yes. Poser.
exactly. So you can feel the programs that are happening and what they're just kind of modeling after.
Isn't it funny that the program's called Poser, but in the 90s, a poser was someone who tried to be something they weren't?
Right.
So
No,
it's
that's
literally
cool.
like they're all trying to be Stuart Immonen. So they're posers using poser.
I
God,
love
so
this here.
perfect.
Could be the could this be in our same bat time, same bat channel. I was like, what? There's there indication that we'll find out anything that about what just happened tomorrow? You guys are so weird. Like I love like them
Yeah,
calling that because I think that's part of the lexicon. I feel like we've said that. People say that. You know what I mean? I don't know if they. A lot of people say it,
give me
but
that. What are you doing?
are you fighting with your dog?
Yeah, she knows when she brings me a piece of trash on the ground. If I'm eating
Mhm.
dinner, I'll give her a little something.
Oh yeah.
And my daughter just gave me like food she didn't finish. So the dog's like, "Oh, here's trash." I'm like, "No, this isn't for you. It's not food for dogs." But here's where she thinks she's smart. She thinks if she tears something up into little pieces, she can
Mhm.
bring me each of the individual little pieces, and each little piece will get her a
Oh yeah.
reward.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's not how it works. And that's when I have to take everything from her. No, give me
Oh,
everything. And make it,
negotiation.
yeah. But it's funny. It's a smart, like that's a smart move.
That's smart. Yeah.
Dog's like, oh, if I bring him a napkin, he'll give me a treat.
Right,
But if
right,
I
right.
bring him a bunch of little pieces of the napkin, I'll get a bunch of little treats. I'm trying to show her that's not how it works. Give me the last piece. Come on.
That's funny.
They have
Uh,
the they say dogs have the understanding of like a 6-year-old. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
the variant covers here are probably kind of nuts. Like, did you see this? You have an Eric and Eddie, but it's like a new digital Eric and Eddie style.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. And then Connor got one, which is nice.
Good.
And this is Martin Morazzo, which is pretty. It's a pretty cool looking cover. Martin
Yeah.
Morazzo does Ice Cream Man, so that's pretty.
That's pretty.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. This is the most. I mean, to me, this is like the most. It's super imaginative. Like, there's so many ideas in this. I mean, this guy. I don't know. He may run out of ideas, but um, this is.
He
You
may
know,
run out of ideas.
when we
I
talk about, well, I mean, seriously, when he did those sort of crisis events like one and two, there's like 30 ideas per issue. It's like, dude, some people will just have an idea and it's the issue.
I think issue three
Um,
comes out. I think issue three comes out this week.
oh, geez. I feel like it's like a meal. You know what I mean? I feel like, but between Ramsey and Dennis Campion, they're like, okay, I got it. Let me sit down and pay attention to this. Which is pretty cool. I mean, again, this feels very Morrison. This feels very feels thick. It feels
Yeah.
like Hickman.
I
It's a
like
little thick.
I like this issue because it slows down the pace a little bit and gives you a Law and Order episode. But
Well,
it's
yeah,
crazy Grant Morrison. You're right. He Grant Morrison this up.
yeah.
So it's like, here's what you can understand a detective case, but here's like all the crazy shit behind it. And you're just like, this is so good. It's enjoyable. The art is like showing you like it's
Well,
wacky.
but
The colors.
now he's treating him as he's his partner.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
Like
that's
it's a buddy
his
cop. It's a buddy
invisible
cop show.
partner. I love this where he's walking on like, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with my my husband? He's talking to someone outside. He's not coming into
He's
the house just yet,
he's he's stepping over things that isn't there.
Oh, it's so crazy. Got chaotic. And this is what you want as far as like this is what I want when I think about like a type of comic book that I would want to create. Like is just all these different colors. I love the colors in this. I
Can
love
you
like
can you
the
imagine the
storytelling.
horror of being able to read people's minds?
Oh
Like
yeah,
you
no,
think it would be a great gift, but you don't
no,
really
no,
want
no,
it
no.
because people think things sometimes that they don't actually believe.
Mhm.
Like sometimes like, oh, my wife, grr, she does this and that. And if she read my mind at that point, she'd be like, oh my God, he thinks I'm horrible. But really it's just the mood you're in, you
Yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah. Everything's
Like
mood.
everything's
You told
mood.
me that. Yeah,
So that's a horrible, horrible thing. That's a
yeah,
gift you don't want.
yeah. I love this. I also love it. He goes in to see his kid, and his kid's always like, "Well, that's I mean, his kid has to must have seen this character because remember when he gave him like his like sculpture of him,
Right.
it was that. It was the
Yeah.
green, the Green Martian. So, yeah, this is creepy. This is creepy as far as it being like a white Martian type of thing, and this is also horrifying. Of these things. This
Yeah.
reminded me of like what was the Shyamalan movie? What was it, The Happening, when they showed like clips of just people like being run over by uh lawnmowers, like just like
Right,
self-mutilation and
right,
just
right.
like it's
Because
just
of the wind.
the wind. Look out, look out. But I also find that the villain. I mean, the weakness. Well, the Martian Manhunter weakness is fire. Like,
Yes. Well,
and
yeah,
he's not having
traditionally.
trouble traditionally, right? So, God, there's so much going on here, and I imagine that he's drawing in the grabs or the crashes and all that stuff, and he's coloring it too. So, I mean, it's really really, really heavily involved. He's starting to teleport people out. His art here kind of looks a little bit like was that Ramon Perez? Like I know that, it just feels like it's a bit more experimental. I also like it. Everyone looks a little bit different. Like this crowd scene here, everyone looks really, really different.
Hmm.
If this is 6 or 12 or six going to 12,
Is it?
or I don't know. I didn't know. I don't remember if this had a 12 commitment or if it had a six commitment going to 12. I forget. Um, what's a bummer is that like typically when I pull and edit the show is I'll go. This is how I knew that Two-Face was canceled. Basically, is that after Two-Face we reviewed Two-Face number 3 or 4. I went to pull the title, and the Diamond app or the Diamond website where I'm just gonna kind of crop the title to put in our video. It's like of six. I'm like, God damn it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know,
We didn't
but
know.
we really don't understand issue numbering anymore because we don't understand certain fandoms that continue. Like we're just befuddled by and happy about. Not I'm not complaining, but like Poison Ivy's on like what 38, 39. Like what are you talking about? Like it's
Yeah,
it's
fantastic for those
crazy.
people. The
Cool.
book
Yeah, but it's but Harley Quinn can't carry a book anymore. Isn't that funny?
is.
Like,
Do you think it's because they put a level of expectation on those characters, or is it just because they always want to bring like at least one A or B lister to like, so they got to pay them a little bit better,
I
and then
don't
their
know.
profit's not as big, even though they're making money. Every comic printed makes money at
Yeah.
Marvel and DC. It's just how much money they make, and they're not willing to produce a book that's high level quality that would probably make more money trade it and collect it
Mm.
later. But it's always about that monthly nut, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the formula is. I mean, it's to me, it's very, very strange that Poison Ivy book's like still going, and then they have to relaunch Harley Quinn every 10, 12 issues. Like it's, you know. But I think the reason why that Poison Ivy is popular is because of the relationship she has with Harley. So it was like reverse engineering, right?
Well,
And I
it's
feel
because
like with
maybe
Catwoman, I can't get a thread on anymore,
because
you know?
Harley Quinn, like Deadpool, was at their mo like Wolverine, like Punisher, is at their best when they don't have their own books.
Hmm.
They're all incredible characters when they show up, like Venom. How much did we love Venom until he got his own book?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm not saying
I
there's,
like Harley Quinn in the Tinian Batman book as
yeah,
like
she
a
was
side
great,
character. She was great there. But
great.
after that, I just was blah, you know.
No, these characters are great. They're great characters. But sometimes great characters, they you can get away with a miniseries, but constant, like anything written by Palmiotti and Connor is pretty good,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But then some people take it over and, they just don't have the right formula. Or at that point, it's like, listen, if you don't have A-listers doing it, maybe don't do it.
Don't do it.
Maybe,
Yeah, I mean it's harder to do. That's why I think Deadpool is floundering because it just goes to like whoever. It's Stephanie Phillips. It just goes to different people further and further down the
yeah,
line that are
even,
just
even
like
Scotty
in the
Young,
stable, you
even
know.
Scotty Young didn't get 12 issues out of it.
Hmm.
And maybe because Scotty Young deserves a higher paycheck. I
Right,
don't know.
right.
I know
Well,
he's paid well for his art, but I don't know. But he's got to be paid decently for his writing. He's a pretty good writer.
yeah, I think they're doing it. You said you read Strange Academy. You said that
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah, I said that
I
was
didn't read
good.
that. Yeah, I think yeah. No,
And that lasted 12 issues, then got a relaunch for 12 issues, and
yeah, they had to keep like rejiggering it and putting it in a crossover with somebody.
that was Young
Like you
and
have to.
Ramos. That was a really good. That's an A-list team.
Right, right.
Ramos is like their go-to guy. Although I know Ramos is probably paid as well as you could be at Marvel. He's Ramos has got to be up there.
Yeah. Well,
He lives in Mexico City. He Ramos. The first time I talked to Ramos was fantastic. Great conversation. We talked about life and wives and comics. It was so great.
hmm,
And the next time I met him, it was more like not a brush off. And it wasn't like he was any more famous. I don't know what the deal was. Maybe I just hit him at the right time to have this incredible conversation with him. Um, and then I overheard someone say, I won't say who, was like, oh yeah, once Ramos started like working out, it was like his personality changed.
it's on
Because
steroids.
maybe.
Yeah.
What is that? Uh, just forgot his name. Who's Pete Holmes' friend?
Are you lying?
No, the Pete Holmes' friend who worked out from Did Eternals and
Oh,
the Big
Camille.
Sick. Camille. He said he's like once he started working out, he said I'm like 10% less funny. I'm like
Oh,
that's funny because your personality becomes working out. I'm not
right,
shitting on
right,
that because it feels great to work out. I miss it. I used to do it a lot when I was younger.
Yeah,
for like
I'm
years.
not doing
No, that's probably why I'm that's why I'm fat now because I worked out so much then.
it. Is that the reason?
One of the reasons.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to eat a lot to work out to get muscles and then stop working out because life's too busy. But then you still want to eat.
Right.
I come from a history of like my grandfather was like a professional boxer and my dad was like third on the East Coast for wrestling. Like they're just dudes who love to work out and be in shape. But my dad was a big dude. My grandpa, he didn't get big though, but he died young.
Mm.
I
We're
could tell whole
trying to
stories.
not die. We're
We're
trying to
trying
not
to we're
die.
trying to not die. We are in the drop dead age, and I'm like,
Yeah.
don't want to drop dead
No.
because comics are still coming out. Mark, we got to be alive
Thank
for these
you.
comics,
That's correct. We have to be alive to do these reviews and see what's going to happen. Summer of Superman.
right? Because you know what
Uh,
happens the month after we die, the next issue of Superman comes out, the next issue of Spider-Man
Come
comes
on,
out, the
man.
next
Don't do
crossover comes
this.
out.
Don't do that.
I know.
Don't do that. Since we knew that we were going to have an Eddie Barrows, this was kind of a letdown for me because again, we knew we were going to get an Eddie Barrows film, which we're fine with. We're
Which
fine with
we
that.
like Eddie Barrows.
But this other guy, and he did, I think he did a Ragman series a couple years ago, Sean Zasaski. It's weird because you do the interlude series. I was like, okay, so this guy Sean's going to do these interlude pages, which he did all the interlude pages, which is like 2 or 3 pages. So that way we get Eddie Barrows on mainline,
Right.
mainline Superman story. And then here you have, that's your Christopher Reeve fly away. It's your
Yep.
Christopher Reeve kind of hanging there too. So be careful. I think you gotta I think you should be pulling further away from Christopher Reeve iconography in this. Mora doesn't do it. Mora doesn't really do that iconography. So you got to be careful with that. I think it's easy, but I also think like I don't want to be thinking about a different portrayal of Superman when I'm saying Superman. I just want to see Superman. I just want him to look like Superman. I feel like
I want to
whoever
see
did JLU this week was
I want to
the
see
Travis
2025
Moore.
Superman.
Yeah, I feel like the hair here and the hair there is 1978 Superman. Um, is this where Lena's going? Is she going to be in the Supergirl? Is that a story, I guess? Is she there now? It just made like when I saw
I
this page, I was like, oh, so they're going to do,
That's cool.
you know, they're
I
just
don't mind.
having a whole page for it. So then we go back to the interlude, which we think is probably the next storyline they're going to do, which is the Legion of Tomorrow, uh, Darkseid's Legion stuff, which we knew because that was on something. It was on one of the news stories that had like a layout of like the next year. So that's kind of the next storyline over
Mm.
here. Back to Eddie Barrows, but then it just the next page. This is literally page to page, page to page. You're like, oof. Like to me, as soon as it hit to this, I'm like, that looks like a Jim Chung Superman, actually. Jim Chung face a little bit.
It's like Jim
Um,
Chung meets Todd Nauck.
I don't like the Superman design. I don't like his Superman's head. It's all Superman's head, dude. I'm
You
telling you,
you
I have
you you
trouble with
need
Superman's head.
you do.
I need that
It's
head.
a lot to tackle.
Yeah. Was
And we're
this
back to
character's only ever been in like pages of stuff? I don't think we've ever seen this character before, right?
no, she's been in this Williamson storyline.
Yeah, I don't remember.
She showed up before.
I think I might have just kind of like blew through some of the early.
She wasn't in Bendis's run, was she? Was she going after the Red Mist or something? Does
No,
that sound right? She's
when that
definitely been
Ginny
in.
Hex.
No, she's definitely
Gen,
been in this run. Because what's neat about this issue is it starts off with the other two scientist villains
mhm.
that like was with Lex when Lex started off. So it's like Williamson is like calling back to stuff from the first 10 issues of Superman. So that's interesting. I mean, I like this stuff better. I think he's actually become a better Superman writer. The last, I don't know, 8 to 10 issues have been like fantastic, which might
Yeah.
have only been upped by, Dan Mora on the book.
Well, it definitely helps. Yeah, it definitely helps. I want this to just kind of get to something. I just felt like the art changes just like really distracted me.
That's rough.
So I'll take this art change because I didn't read the Cobra Commander mini. You said that was pretty good.
They're all good.
Got this yellow. See, they did the smart thing here. Actually, if it was all black up there, it would have been fine. Have the GI Joe against the black, the yellow and the black. That would have been look cool. But instead they
Right.
did like a horizon. I like it. That's fine. You do a Twilight. That's cool. Um, so this is Andrea Milana, man, because there's no letters that said we welcome, and then it said he,
Is it Andre? Or am I?
Andrea. Well, it's
Uh,
Andrea Milana, but
but it's a guy.
it's a guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
like
First off,
Lovern
I feel
Kurzinski.
like Flint should have been on the cover.
Um, he shouldn't have been, or he should have.
No,
Should.
no, should not have been
No, you're right. Yeah.
because it's kind of a surprise when he shows
The
up.
reveal. Yeah.
All right. Secondly, I feel like this is a great introduction to Beachhead,
Hawk.
by the way, in this universe. I feel like it's been tacked a little bit by having the Beachhead special that came out last month and the Larry Hama, you know.
Correct. That when I thought this, I said, you know what? This is what I'm talking about. You know what's good in those in any type of like mission? Narration. Because every narration bit in this was good. But I feel like
Yes.
all the silent missions I was like bored by because I was like, you know what I would like here? Narration.
But
Maybe they could
like
still be silent.
I
And I
love
know
the
it's the gimmick. I know it was like literally like a
yes.
gimmick, like it was the gimmick, but it was like a situation where that book was late. What was that was that what it was? It was like the book was late, and
There's so
then
many myths and rumors around that like we'll never
yeah,
know.
yeah, it's not
We don't
probably
know
not true.
what the K we don't know if it's kayfabe or not, you know.
Mhm. Right.
Some people oh it was forgotten or it was late or it was there's always like we don't know. But I feel like the impact of bringing in Beachhead was lessened by the silent issue because like we hadn't seen Beachhead yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I
Um,
kind of forgot about, but see, to me, like this was such a realized version of Beachhead, and look at how good.
this is a
Again,
hardcore, and it's hardcore.
look at
It's
how
like
good all of the like just how much costume elements are on here.
yeah,
That's more than the costume elements on the friggin' Beachhead toy, and that's cool. Uh, and look at that sword. Oh, that's crazy looking.
yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of fun, and the action's so good and kinetic and crazy. And you can follow everything. Yeah, you have a lot. You have like it. So here you have like I feel like it feels like a little bit like Common Coley feels a bit like and I did do there's the elbow. So you got the squiggle. So you got the Danny Warren Johnson slash James Herron action
Right.
squiggle.
I don't like go
Um,
back 2 pages. Um, I'm all about the sound effects, but I feel like in the third panel, the one to the right, the
mm,
swoosh is taking up too much art room.
yeah, 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 you're right. Yeah.
Like you can't you got to be careful. Like we're here for the art. We're not really
Mm.
here for the lettering. You might be here for the lettering. Some
I'm
people
here
are,
for lettering.
but
I'm
most
almost
people
wondering if like that, but I feel like this person's doing the lettering because it's like he's framing the H around this dude, you know?
maybe
Or I don't know if
I don't know.
I don't know who's doing it. I'm not sure if Jordy's doing it. It's Jordy Belair Color. So
No, it's not.
it's not.
No.
That was Lee Loveridge. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. But still doing the same thing.
See, I like the lettering behind what's going on.
Ching boom. The ching boom. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's only doing and then having it alongside here as the sounds coming at you. That's fun too.
I almost wonder if like the maybe the lettering should be like transparent, like a
You can do it. You can change the
yeah, yeah.
opacity.
I don't know. It's
Opacity.
interesting.
Yeah. But here you're fine. I think I'm telling you what you're fine with. You're fine with this because again it's like it's more like marker is going away here. You should
Yeah,
do that because then
yeah,
you're having the color in behind
and
it.
it's yeah, and it's here it
Or
is
the
behind the
Kritish,
yeah. I like it behind the
the
chains.
room kaching.
It's neat. No, they're really doing like the truck's going vroom. There's a click clack of the chains, a dragon behind the truck. That chains are very noisy.
Yeah, crazy. Blood showing up.
I know.
Blood, two D's, blood. Da, da. Um, yeah, I mean, again, it's all very gear. Because I do like that. You have like the dirt bikes there, and then
No,
when they show
GI.
up, you have the toys. It's very
Yeah,
toy. So
I
it's
love it.
super, super toy. You know. But yes, I would have been. It would have been more impactful having them show up if he wasn't on the cover. That would have
It's
been
a deceiving
way
cover
better.
because Flint doesn't really do anything. He's not there on the mission with him. You think it's a mission of 2 characters.
Right. Right. Yeah. I do
So
like. I do like. Oh, and I could see. Yeah, this may be careful. Careful now. Careful now. It might be. Well, it's not poser, but it's like I want to take some picture and Photoshop it. No matter what you can do, listen, I've done it. Like if you Photoshop in and you start messing with it,
yeah,
as much as you try to make it not look like a picture, a lot of times it just looks like a picture. So, um, but this is if you this feels. I mean, I know I'm talking to potential future slash sponsor slash partner, co-partner, et cetera, with another comic shop, a new LCS. and he talked about us having like our own like little space to recommend, stuff like and have one or two shelf slots or maybe even more. What should he order, et cetera. And I was like, well, there's stuff right now that feels very, very evergreen. I feel like this GI Joe would be very easy to give to someone. Uh, I think that, the next book we're going to talk about is also like it's a new, brand new evergreen book immediately, like immediately to the point where they know and they're selling it like that because there's extras in it,
Yeah,
and then there's talks, there's essays in the extras about the first issue, McNiven learned how to color, but
yeah.
we want this book to come out, so we got Dean White to do the same type of things. Um, this is ridiculous. This book's ridiculous. This is like, I don't think I've read Charles. So I've read a lot of Charles Soule's stuff. He had a pretty good issue run of Daredevil, right? He had with
Good
Garney.
Daredevil, good She-Hulk because I think Soule was a lawyer, so he actually kind of knew what he was talking
Yeah.
about. His Star Wars stuff's pretty good, but this is beyond.
Hmm.
This is the best stuff he's ever written, and
Yeah.
he's basically he must have reread Dark Knight 100 times and said, "I can do this with Daredevil."
Well, it's Dark Knight. It's Elektra. I mean, this is very, very, very Elektra lives
It's
again.
it's amazing Frank
Um,
Miller didn't give us this book, to be honest with you.
yeah. I mean, but listen, he's not. They're actually doing. I don't like this. They're doing a second print of this issue with a splash page that's coming up, which is I'm fine with them doing that printing. That's fine by me. But then they're doing a second printing like Hidden Gem, which was like the Marvel Age cover when Frank Miller did the very boring Daredevil on the wire, just like standing like this. It's like a silhouette. Very boring.
They should use his is it Amazing Heroes cover? Somebody
Uh, there is
or
a comics reader cover, something like that. Yeah, there's an
there's a
interview
and there yeah, there's an interview book. Oh, there's a Daredevil.
index or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a gorgeous Frank Miller cover.
Yeah. I have one of the magazines that he did a cover for was Amazing Heroes or something. I do have a cover that I know that, and it's a Daredevil interview issue, and they talk about Dark Knight, but they don't show you any like they don't. It's pre-Dark Knight, like it's
Oh,
80s.
that's
Yeah,
interesting because we didn't
yeah,
know. I love reading those interviews. Like, what's because
yeah.
nobody knows what this book's got to be. Nobody knows
Also,
the impact. Can you
Marvel
imagine
Age.
living in a pre-Dark Knight world
Yeah. Well, I think
for
it's funny when
Batman's?
when you read Marvel Age. Marvel Age talks about the new graphic novel that John Romita Jr. is drawing for Daredevil, and it's like, and it didn't happen. It just because it kept getting bigger. And they're like, all right, we're just going to format this as a 5 issue miniseries, then we'll put it in a graphic novel. But that changed a couple times.
But
The
wasn't
Man
that
Without
just taken
Fear.
from like a Frank Miller script? That was just his movie
It was
script,
a
right?
treatment. Yeah, it was like a treatment, and then but Frank expanded different pieces of it because there's even pieces that are in the trade in the hardcover. There's like a 6 page sequence that just isn't. They didn't decide to just throw out completely. And then because like Frank came back with changes, and John's like, I drew all this, and they're like, he's like, oh well. So they have it in the trade. There's like 6 pages of him like doing stuff,
I'll have to go back and look at that.
and it's not printed. It's not in there. So
Right.
uh,
So back to
but
this Daredevil on a wire, beautiful. This,
yeah, this is just insane. Like this is just crazy.
I mean, Dean White does an admirable job, like trying to do what McNiven did last issue.
Mhm. Which is doing what Lynn Varley
Lynn
did in
Varley did, yeah.
1987. You know what I mean? Like, because when you get to this here, as soon as you get to Elektra, and I knew it, like I knew right off. And I also love the way that Foggy looks. He's just so like tragic, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone's doing a better job at this. Like, look at all these different characters that have to fight Daredevil here. I also love how skinny and frail Daredevil. Like you feel
Yeah. He's the
his
old
like
man.
lankiness, you know.
Yeah.
It's creepy. Whereas I feel like a lot of times, like I love this panel. Look at that. Look at how crazy and skinny and weird. Um,
It's like gross,
he does a good
but
job with the
it's gaunt.
geography of it, like of the gangsters, and that they look different. Same thing with the GI Joe and even again like I guess all the gangs, right? Rekgar
It,
and his gang are all different characters and
it's
looking
probably
different.
what, him looking gaunt is the way Daredevil should look. I think when
Hmm?
Quesada did Daredevil Father, we were all excited about it, but then we get the book and we're like, oh, this isn't great.
Why is he
Like,
doing gigantic Daredevil?
yeah, like
Hmm.
Daredevil looked great in a well, Guardian Devil. Like the Joe
Yeah, the
Quesada
Marvel
Daredevil
Knights.
Kansas series looks phenomenal. And then we were hoping to get more of that in Daredevil Father, and we didn't.
I never finished that. It kind of bored me. I was reading. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I
I
think I
have it.
read it, but I never re put it this way, I never reread it, and that says something
Yeah.
because I love Quesada's art, especially back in the
Yeah.
90s.
I wonder if I reread. I mean, I wonder if I reread Guardian Devil now would it annoy me? Because I think at the time it kind of annoyed me because it was so wordy. Remember, because it was Kevin Smith just not being edited. They're like, okay, this guy's writing for us. That's cool. Yeah, they felt like if you're paying Kevin Smith 10 grand a script or whatever they were going to pay him, or maybe they paid him back end or whatever. It's so funny too because that was before the movie, and I think that the first Guardian Devil trade, which was only like 3 issues, does that sound right? It wasn't the whole storyline, and like Ben Affleck did the intro, for Kevin Smith, so it's kind of funny. And he was
Well,
Daredevil.
he is a Daredevil fan. That Daredevil movie came out, what, 2004,
Yeah, it didn't,
2005?
yeah, it didn't come out too much longer
And
after.
Guardian Devil came out in what, 98, 99?
Yeah, they do a lot of the imagery. They have him. There's a lot of shot for shot imagery.
Yeah,
You know,
you are talking like 4 or 5 years between the comic and the movie. Yeah, this was fantastic.
yeah.
That looks like he was looking at Frank Miller. That looks like it's just so good looking.
Yeah. Look at that, dude. That this right here, that Electra face, so gross. Like it's so, like just very, and how brutal she is.
Yeah,
Now, I don't really remember she's resurrected by the hand, so it's not. I mean, to me, it's almost like Talia, right? It's almost like she's that's like his Talia in a way, right? And
yeah.
she's immortal sort of because she's dead, and then came back in Bizarre Adventures. Like I feel like I just got uh because I had it and I ended up selling it, and I don't know why I did. So the Baxter reprint, which is kind of the craziest thing. I don't think maybe there is a trade. I should look that up, see if the trade's anywhere around cheap. But these Electra sagas are crazy. They're so good. Um, and like there's just exclusive art in there's well not exclusive art in here. I guess so. There's chapter breaks in here, but this is literally him, Frank Miller, reshuffling every page of that Electra stuff and then took out all the Daredevil stuff. Like it's crazy. And it's 4 issues. This is called the Gauntlet. I think that's a misspell. The Gauntlet. You
Good
know,
old the game. Yeah, the Gauntlet.
the Gauntlet. Um, but yeah, this is a crazy series. I should see if there's a trade for that. Maybe there is. See what type of paper it's on. But this paper is crazy good though. And I feel like some of it was recolored or touched up. Doesn't say. It just says that with Klaus Janson. So I feel like when these issues came out, Klaus Janson didn't color these issues. I should do a side by side, baby. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like the issues that are here are not, or they're like whoever, Christy Shelley or somebody like that is in my brain.
Mm.
But then I feel like when I went to this, it's Klaus Janson colors on this. No, I don't know. Remember they did the Daredevil Visionaries Frank Miller volume 1, 2, 3 with new kind of baddish covers. Uh, I think it was Alex Sinclair colors on that too. Anyway, no good. Um, but yeah, anyway, so that being said, like this new palette is very, very much like um the Electra Lives Again, you know. And just look at how brutal. Like, oh, I love it, dude. This is such a good book. And I almost forgot who the villain was because again, they didn't really they didn't really like put him in. So it is paced a little weird because again, they only put in the stuff at the very, 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 very end with Bullseye. But this is also really scary that every those are all canisters that basically can create because they're doing like is doing super soldier serum essentially with this
Right. The
technology
radioactive material that created Daredevil.
and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And the Turtles, it's true.
Yeah, and then you get the extra stuff in the back, which is really fun. Um, but they might put out a special edition because Nick Lowe, the editor, talks about a couple of things that Dean White came on. But yeah, would love to do like some type of artist edition thingy with all this stuff, which is really fun. I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's amazing that we never got a Daredevil Turtles crossover.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. It's surprising. I would think that. Yeah. I mean, listen, make some phone calls. Have a Kevin Eastman draw it. Peter Laird's coming
Yeah.
back and doing something. He's doing
Is
like
he?
he's doing something for them. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, he's more of the retired one. He retired like right off,
Yeah,
like
he was always older than Kevin Eastman to begin with.
yeah. But yeah, he's coming
Um,
back and doing
yeah,
something. Kevin Easton's
or
still pretty active.
get McNiven to draw it
That's fine by me.
and color it. Give us a one shot. Too good. You know what? You got to make the deal. Marvel does one, IDW does one. So Marvel, give us Charles Soule and give us this team.
Give us this team, and on
And
that team, you
IDW
can leave
is
the
that,
team.
and
You
on
can get out of the same
IDW,
team. Do you have Jason
East
Aaron, Juan Ferreira? Just do that because that's
or
also colored really
or
well.
or Eastman and Laird
Yeah,
and Aaron. Give me Aaron, Eastman and Laird.
yeah.
Oh, that would look so good.
I'll take it.
I will.
That's it for me. That's all my reviews. Anything else you're catching up on?
I caught up on issue 3 of Let This One Be a Devil. That was a good issue.
Oh, okay.
They
Yep.
they 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 talk about, oh, the Jersey Devil was seen on a trolley car in Haddon Heights. And I'm like, did Haddon Heights have a trolley
Is
car?
that
I'm
true?
not sure.
Well,
I don't.
I feel like if there is if
It
there's something
could.
mentioned in that it's probably a legend. It's
Yeah, yeah.
Jersey,
It's been a
the
while
urban
since I
legend.
read. He's getting a lot of information from the same Jersey Devil book that I have. Everyone in Jersey has this. It's got a red cover. Jersey Devil's like a black silhouette. It's a really good Jersey Devil book. I think my daughter has it right now. She was into it for a while. But the backup story is good too. Like it's always like Jersey Devil main story, and then a backup historical story,
Yeah, I feel
nonfiction
like
story.
they should have advertised that a certain way because I remember the first issue I was like mad about it. I haven't gone
Well, the
back to
first
it.
issue, I think the backup story is as long as the first story, and
Right,
we
right,
don't
right.
like that.
No,
But the second
confusing.
issue, the backup story is a little less, and third issue, back story is a little less. So,
All right,
so I did read that this morning. I read something else too. I forget. Nah. So, yeah, man, that's a comics for the week.
that's it. By like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna do some special videos upcoming. We're looking at some potential partners in the future. Try to get on a couple other different places so everyone
Yeah,
can
we got to
consume.
move. We really got to move forward with our. We want to do some interviews, and we really wanted to perfect as close as we can perfect this what we do,
Yeah,
our show. I want to be. We want it to be fluid. We want it to be loose. We want it to be comfortable before we start interviewing people.
yeah.
So, and sadly, we had talked about on the news one of the people we really wanted to interview passed.
Right, 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 right.
Robert Brown, comic artist of the '90s.
Yeah, we think that would have been more attainable than like a Peter David interview, especially knowing that Peter David was sick. But we can't keep going to every article of the week and it's like, oh, that person's dead. They can no longer be on the show. I don't know if I
Yeah,
would have gotten around to Butch Guys, but that was also a pretty bad loss too this year. So
yeah, that
everybody
would have been
stop.
interesting.
Everybody stop dying, please. Thank you. Stop
So
dying.
that's it.
Hmm.
Everyone stay alive, especially to catch our show.
Yes, please do.
All
All
right.
right, everyone. We'll see everyone real soon.
Have a good week.